Analyzing the effect of climate change, rainfall and temperature, on vegetation cover of Nepal using time series MODIS images. Keywords: MODIS image, NDVI, chirps, vegetation change pattern, climate change, time series data. Climate change and so its effect on terrestrial ecosystem has been a focus point for a while now. So, it is imperative to analyze the variation and interrelationship between vegetation cover and climate pattern, especially country like Nepal having a dynamic ecosystem. Climate change and so its effect on terrestrial ecosystem has been a focus point for a while now. The study area covers whole Nepal, 28.3949 degrees north, 84.1240 degrees east, with an area of 147,181 square kilometers. Nepal is landlocked by India on 3 sides and China's Tibet Autonomous Region Toth North. Nepal measures about 800 kilometers along the Himalayan axis by 150 to 250 kilometers across. It rises from low of 59-meter elevation in tropical Terai to 8,848 meters in the hill. Along south to north it can be divided into 3 belts: lower plains, mountain and hill. The lower plains, also called Terai, begins at the Indian border and includes some hill ranges. The southernmost part of Terai is flat and intensively farmed North Indian River Plain and is called Outer Terai. This aims to analyze the spatial-temporal distribution of vegetation cover, temperature, and rainfall, and to examine the relationship of the latter two with vegetation for entire Nepal. Primary data used were vegetation and temperature data from moderate-resolution imaging. MODIS satellite image, spectroradiometer, MODIS, and rainfall data from Climate Hazards Group infrared precipitation with stations, chirps, data product. The relationship analysis was carried out in 3 phases. First, the trend of vegetation with respect to rainfall and land surface temperature, LST, was inspected over entire study area by creating a time series of normalized difference vegetation index, NDVI, monthly means for 6 months, averaged over the whole study period. However, vegetation change pattern across various ecological regions of Nepal also needed to be considered, for the 3 different regions are profoundly different from each other in a number of factors like altitude and soil type. Among them, rainfall and temperature changes happen to exert a strong influence on the condition of vegetation cover. So, it is imperative to analyze the variation and interrelationship between vegetation cover and climate pattern, especially country like Nepal having a dynamic ecosystem. During the study period, the correlation coefficient between vegetation index and rainfall was the highest in October in Terai, while that with temperature was in July in hilly region. Analysis between 2000 to 2010. In first case, the analysis was guided by average data of 11 years period, i.e. 2000 to 2010, to describe the variation of vegetation. Overall, vegetation was influenced greater by the temperature than rainfall in all 3 ecological regions, with the highest correlation coefficient of vegetation with temperature and rainfall, being MODIS 0.937 and 0.556 respectively. The correlation analysis with significant NDVI, LST and chirps trends indicated that precipitation showed strong and positive impact on vegetation at missed places while temperature had a significant negative impact. The project discussed the spatial-temporal patterns and relationships of NDVI with LST and gridded satellite rainfall throughout the study period. Both precipitation and temperature are dominant climate factors contributing to the vegetation growth in the study area. Meanwhile, there are other factors that need to be considered on the influence of terrestrial vegetation growth, such as relative humidity, nutrients, light intensity and mechanical factors including wind and occurrence of fire, and so on. Breckel, 2002. So, Incorporating other climatic factors for better analysis on climate impact is highly recommended. Rainfall and temperature, along the 11-year study period, was also portrayed, to depict how the vegetation cover has been fluctuating over the years.